What is good? What is good? What is good? Welcome to a new episode of Drag the Lake. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Malafrina, joined with, as always, is that with as always?
Joined by as all I don't
Joined by, as always, the as always, Patrick George.
Andy, hi, it's Pat here.
I like
Uh
that. Actually, I like that. Joined with,
yeah,
wait,
joined as if by.
joined with the as always. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
like joined with by
Joined with the as always, Patrick George. How you doing, buddy?
Andy, hi. Thanks so much for having me on the show that we co-host together. That's our show.
My very special guest every week.
I think we always do a really interesting, fun podcast right before the podcast. That's always good and always fun, but it's
No,
always nice to talk to you
we
about
didn't
it.
do a podcast. That's just called friendship. We've been doing this for too long. That long conversations we call them live podcasts.
Yeah, live podcast. We just did a live podcast over Zoom. But it's been nice, man. How's your week been so far?
That's so funny. They're like, yeah, we logged on. We had about 40 minutes of friendship, and then we
And
did our podcast.
then we're like straight to the content. Enough of this shit. Let's get over it. Come on, shut the fuck up,
That is funny though, when you especially when you're talking over Zoom and you're just like, that could have been a clip. That could have been a clip. We should start another podcast.
man.
You know
Okay,
what?
did
I
I just
have
get that?
I'm starting to get a lot of interest, and that's gonna be a lot of podcasts I'm gonna have to start. But yeah, dude, we got a bunch of shit to talk about today. If you're new to the show, thank you for hanging out. Me and Pat, we talk about mostly heavy music, but we
Yeah.
also talk about a lot of shit going on in the music world. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of fun topics. We're going to talk about what's the best length for an album,
Mhm.
Drake and Anthony Fantano feuding. And then we got a few other ones we might get into. I wanted to ask Pat some opinions on jazz music, and also there's a Callous Cowboys album we want to let you know about. But yeah, what do we do now?
I'm so glad that you said all of that because right at the Drake thing and then whatever that second name was, I would have been out. I would have been on my face, just dead right in front of everybody, just like a real dickhead because I don't know
Yeah,
what he said, but I'm gonna talk about it.
hell yeah. It's gonna be fun. Oh, I was, you know why I paused was because my instinct was to go, Pat, how you doing? But I said that like 8 times already. And then, oh no, but I did want to say
I
we
appreciate
are,
you checking in.
yeah, dude. So I do want to say this. Thank you for everyone who watched the episode last week. We are gonna try to do a weekly schedule. We're still working out the nuts and bolts, but this is sort of going to be the format going forward, where we do a long form podcast. You can hop over to the YouTube channel, just search Drag the Lake, or follow us on social media. I am Andy Malafrine everywhere. Pat is Baby Mermaid Productions on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
So what?
Yuck.
But so you can see us post and update all there. But right now, basically, new episodes are going to be dropping every weekend. And then if you don't want to sit through the whole episode, because me and Pat sure can fucking yap,
Oh yeah.
you can
We
hop.
digress.
Yeah, you can hop over to the YouTube channel and watch the clips and stuff. And also, I will be posting more long form album reviews, reaction videos, all that shit. So, yeah, you guys seem to like the full podcast. Thank you for hanging out. Let's do our shit. So, the first topic I wanted to hop into, I was thinking about this so I was listening to the album Stray from the Path. No, that's the band. What was the fucking album called? It just dropped. I was listening to it a little bit today. Stray from the Path. Let me look it up. I apologize, boys, because it's a very, 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 very fun album. The one that just dropped. Jesus goddamn Christ. Google, you're butt fucking me right now. Euthanasia. Euthanasia is the album that I totally fucking remembered by Stray from the Path.
Euthanasia.
So I was listening to that because I was having a lot of fun with. Shout out, good friend Tyler Langleys. He's my hookup on letting me know about some good fucking music. He let me know about this new Stray from the Path album, and I was having fun listening to it. And it hit the point where I was just like, like every time, Pat, you listen to an album and it sort of hits a point where you're like, this is fucking great. It's very similar to eating a dish, some type of food, where any food has this, where you're like fucking eating and you're like, this is great, this is great, this is great. Then you hit a point where you're like, this is too much. I've made a
Yep.
poor decision. My
Yep.
life is hell. Everything around me is sorrow. And right when I was about to hit that point, I looked down and the album literally has like one song left. So that was like a big thing. And I'll get deeper into that in my Stray from the Path Euthanasia review. I will get deeper into that about the other workings of the album. But I did think to myself, because at that point it was about 38 minutes. And I thought, like, that is just like in that ballpark, like 30, like 30, you feel like you're getting a little bit gypped.
Yeah.
So like honestly, I think 38 minutes to me is like the minimum of an album. But at the same time, like I don't need more than 45.
Yeah.
I don't need more than 45. And I think in this I don't know, album length is a very interesting thing in this day and age, because I know like Kanye a while back was toying with the idea of having these like 20-minute albums. Like everything him and his crew was putting out was only 20 minutes. So album length to me is an interesting conversation to have, because there's a lot of pros and cons. Pat, what's your general like what gets you, like what's the perfect album length to get you horny?
Okay, well, I guess it's also it depends on really the song length, right? You know what I
mean? That's a very interesting,
because there
fucking right turn.
There can be a 4-song album with 30 minutes or 36 minutes of music that's put out as like, do you know what I mean? Like that do that is like, what are you doing?
That, not to cut you off, that is an amazing point, because a 4-song 40-minute album is way different than a 10-song 40-minute album.
Totally. It's totally different.
It's the same thing where like watching like The Irishman, set aside that it was kind of boring at parts.
I'm so glad you said The Irishman. That means I get to watch it.
Wait, what?
I have a self bet, Andy, where anytime someone says, Andy, you know the rewatchable movies, right? Goodfellas, you have your Jurassic Park or whatever. Anytime you're flipping around, if it's on, you're going to watch it from wherever it is. I do that with The Irishman, but since it's not on TV, we only have streaming. It's just always in my continue watching. And when I just get tired of how long I've watched it and stop and I quit, I just rewatch it from that point. Whenever it's mentioned by someone else in my presence. So you've mentioned The Irishman. That means I haven't watched, dude. Somebody hasn't talked about this movie in months, and finally I get to I love that movie. I've watched it.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I hate the first half or like the first hour or so. Speaking of lengths, that movie from like the last like 2 hours or so is to me a fucking really excellent movie.
Yeah, I think I didn't hate it, but I think the general, and this kind of goes to my point I was going to make.
Yeah,
is I didn't hate The Irishman, but the general length makes it feel like a fucking marathon,
like a chore. Like
it makes it like when you, dude, like there's been so many times. I remember one night we were going to watch Gangs of New York, and then you kind of like sit there. And like I've never seen Gangs of New York. I really want to watch it.
You do bed math. That's what you do. You go like,
exactly.
What time do I have to go to bed?
Have you ever done this, by the way, where you're like, because we'll have nights. I remember I made a joke about it where me and Steph are sitting on the couch and we're looking for a movie, and I think we scrolled through about 3, and we're like, let's watch that one. And I turn to Steph, I go, we did it. We did it. We didn't even scroll down to a different line.
Yeah. That's awesome.
First line, we hit it. And then, because there's been nights, dude, where we'll start scrolling through and it'll be like a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
And now, honestly, it's not just us sitting there contently. Like you go grab, you're in the middle of doing things, but like the movie picking process is like a half hour. And then, if you start doing that at 9, earlier you could have watched a 2.5-hour movie. Now 2 hours seems more logical.
You're kind of close there, buddy.
You know what I mean?
Now we can't eat while we're watching it now because now it's past my fucking fasting time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And when I'm thinking about it, like I'm pulling up one of the last shows that I just like binged hard. Like it literally, I had like a busy weekend of shows. And I had some shit Saturday, I had some shit Sunday, and both nights I came back and just banged out this show. It was The Bear, which we were gonna talk about that, but that'll get you on a whole tirade, the topic. So if we talk about it, we'll save it for another time.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, it was about they didn't use a Refuse song
Oh,
properly, and if you've listened to the show before, Pat feels a little
don't
something
invoke their
special.
name.
Pat feels a little something special about Refuse, but so like the Bear, it's about 8 episodes long. Each episode's about like 25 minutes. I watched that show in a weekend. And that to me was like an easier task. And I really like I like the Irishman and I like the Bear. I like the Bear a little bit more, but
Yeah.
still, I liked both of them a lot. But like 8 episodes of the Bear, which, yeah, if they're all 25 minutes, that's about 2 hours. But you get the point I'm trying to make. Like 8 episode. No, I don't know how to do math. Holy shit. No, you know what I did? No, you know what I did? I was like 25 is 100, 200 is
Just
2 hours.
Round up. Yeah.
We're
Round
talking
up.
about music, not math. Shut up, dicks.
Yeah. Shut up, fucking idiots. Why are we even talking about TV? Why'd you guys bring this up, idiots?
I started blaming the audience.
It's
Why
your
did
fault.
you guys make me talk about this?
We were talking about lengths, and then I brought up the Irishman, and then you brought it back, and then
All right, no, the Bear,
yeah.
the Bear in total time is like probably 3 to 3.5 hours. But at the same time, like if you were like let's just say the Irishman is 3.5 hours. There is something in everyone's head where it's like a 3 hour Irishman versus 3.5, like 3 hours of the Bear. The Bear's an easier one to take on. So bringing it back to your point, I don't know what that is exactly, because I think it's like you can always have it reminds me of how I do stand up sometimes, where like the way I parse out some comics will have these long jokes that are a whole fucking trip to go on,
Yeah.
and they all bring it out back to the end, and you have the like punchline at the end. It's your big dismount. That scares the shit out of me. I want to be able to bail on a joke if it's going bad. So like every joke I have, I split it up into like 5 minute chunks or like even smaller than that, like 2 or 3 minute chunks, where at any point I can be like, that was the planned end of the joke. And there's this subconscious thing where I think when you're watching a TV show that's like a TV show versus a movie, you're like, I can bail at any point. So there's like less pressure. The movie feels like more of a commitment.
Exactly. And that, I feel like that's the thing, is like we usually with those longer songs and stuff like that too, the same idea. You're going into it with the same mindset. Like if you're watching a movie, you're going to watch the one story.
Yeah.
If you're watching a series that's 3.5 hours long total, but it's cut up into 25 minute segments or 30-minute segments or something. You know that's going to be individual stories being told in the same world. So like you have a little bit more, you have more variety in there. You're going to get more in depth into that world. Whereas a movie, that's why everybody bitches about when movies get made from books, is because they cannot go into that much detail. So they're just like, why did you mention that her dress was blue? Like, nobody gives a fuck. And it didn't add to the story. You enjoyed it, but it's not one of those things. So I think you're going to go into it. So if you're going to go into a Between the Buried and Me album or a NoFX album, you're going to go into almost a feature length album.
Yeah.
It's going to be almost an hour and a half long or so, an hour 20. And NoFX, this is a fun fact. Speaking of your little sweet spot that you like, about 36 or so, 40 minutes.
I would say 40 minutes. And let me say, sorry, don't forget your point. Because I will say this, like, and we can go deeper into this a little bit later. It was I forgot to mention it during the Jackpot Juicer review, but it was my only problem with Jackpot Juicer is it felt like it should have been a double album rather than one long album.
Yeah,
because
it's just how it's cut up. Like that's another thing with Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight as a movie. I hated that movie. I thought it sucked. It dragged. It was boring. It sucked. But they re-released it as like a 5 or 6 episode series, 4 episode series. They made it longer, and I fucking loved it. And I actually watched it almost all the way. Like I enjoyed the story with more depth, because otherwise it was kind of, it just didn't connect with me. So people are different. Like there's gonna be different audiences, but it's all about the approach. So like Between the Buried and Me, is not necessarily going to tell like a story. They're gonna literally, like, for their audience, I'm sure a lot of times take you on a trip, man. You know what I mean? Like they're becoming more of a like a psychedelic feel jam band than they are
Yeah.
metal.
Wait, can I can I die real quick?
Yeah.
Can I can I say this off that point? Because I was thinking about this earlier, and this is a great thing to jump off of into what I was thinking earlier is when, like, if you look at Between the Buried and Me, they always have, I'm sure they have some songs that are like 4 minutes, but like,
Maybe. I
yeah,
don't.
like
I
like
really
two,
don't know. Yeah,
like
yeah.
two.
Like
They're
intros that are
cover
all instrumentals.
the cover of Queen that they have. That's the
Yeah,
only
yeah. Their
one.
cover. I was gonna say their cover album.
Yeah. But no, like if you look at a Between the Buried and Me song and that shit's like 10 minutes, there's this like subtle pressure of like, you know why it's 10 minutes,
Yeah.
because we put a lot of work in it and it's gonna make you think,
Hey,
and
we
it's gonna
can play
be
it perfectly live.
and
Okay.
it's gonna be really fucking deep and
Yeah.
da da da. And and then there's this like pressure where you're like, am I not gonna get it because I'm a fucking idiot and da da da.
I
There's
don't really
this,
like this one. Am I stupid?
yeah, for real though. But like one 15-minute song versus, like I said, like four 4-minute songs.
Right,
There's
right.
more pressure on you on the 15-minute song to
Right.
like, because like,
It's like you said. No, it's like you said. It's like it's the exact same comparison of the long storyteller or the person that can kind of
yeah,
like, oh, I can bail out here, I can bail out here, I can bail out here. Like, because that's the thing is, I will give more grace to a shitty song if there's like 30 seconds left or a minute left than if there's like I'm like 7 minutes left. Fuck this. I like that way. So now half of that work that you put into that fucking 14-minute song is now completely lost because I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Are you doing country right now? Can we just get to back to what are you trying to tell me? You know,
yeah.
like I feel like it can be set like when they did the album Colors, in my opinion, that was the perfect mix of like here's how it can flow and
Colors had a really good progression to it.
it had like eight, and it was like 8 songs, but
Well,
it was still like an hour long. You know what I mean?
because like a band like Between the Buried and Me, and then a band like, and I'm pretty sure you don't really like these guys. I used to think I did, and then I dug deeper into them, and I realized I don't care much about them. But the Mars Volta,
Yeah,
they're very different styles, but they do a similar thing, and I think it's actually what's
yeah,
between the Buried and Me being a like progressive melodic metal band makes what, because I think but Between the Buried and Me and Mars Volta do the same thing, but the fact that Between the
yeah.
Buried and Me is a progressive melodic metal band, they can stay more focused and do that thing more efficiently. Because what annoys me about the Mars Volta is, don't get me wrong, they're all very talented, they all have like cool parts, but then they do the shit where, all right, we did 2 minutes of the cool part. Now we're going to have the guitar feedback for fucking three. And you're like,
Like
you're not doing anything.
legitimately, and this is what I'm saying is like I feel like they build these songs because Between the Buried and Me kind of does that every once in a while too, where it's like where the rest of the band's taking a break, and you're like, okay, you know what people call that? That's the end of one song,
Yeah.
and then they get to rest a little bit and have a drink of water and go, hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
And it's okay
Good.
to end the fucking
You can
song.
talk to us. Talk to us. Don't just talk to us or don't talk at us. Talk to us. Like you don't have to fucking. It feels like you're ignoring us because I know what you're gonna do live. You're gonna do this shit where you're all artsy and it's quiet and the lights go down and like and you just have this one note going
Yeah.
like for 20 minutes and we're gonna go woo woo. But all you dickheads are just taking a break. Other bands do that too, but that's called like end of
I was
one
watching,
and then the beginning of the next song.
dude, it's so true.
Can't reiterate that
I
enough.
was thinking about this when I was at CrossFit the other night. They were playing Metallica, and it reminded me of the thing that I always hate about Metallica. I like Metallica. Metallica is very good, but
Yeah,
every song can be 40% shorter.
yeah, dude. Like
Wait, let me say every single Metallica song, because like the only reason they're long is just because they play the part a bunch of times.
yeah, yeah.
It's not a new part.
Yes. Yeah, I say this all the time. This is my problem also a lot of times, speaking of albums, just going like this is still on topics technically, but when songs fade out at the end of an album or something like that, especially when it's a fucking Between the Buried and Me 17-minute song, and at the end of the song they just kind of fade out the music and it just
Oh,
kind
and
of
they
fades
don't
out.
give you a dismount?
You have to finish. Like that's like legitimately writing a joke without any punchline. That's
Yeah.
just saying setup. Like, oh, I was at the store the other day and I found a box of Cheez-Its. I'm also married. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
Like,
like
wait,
what
what the fuck did I just hear?
you're
Like,
like, what's the deal with airline food? And then you go to the audience and you're like, seriously, what's the fucking deal with that? Tell
yeah,
me. You
I need
tell
to,
me.
yeah, you do the work because
How do you
how
feel
are you going to
about
do that live? You're not going to be able to do that live. And also, like, if you wrote a 17-minute song, like you can write an ending, right? Or maybe that's the point. Maybe we're blowing the lid off this, Andy. Maybe bands that write 17 or 18-minute songs like Mars Volta and shit like that, they're just like, how do we end it? I don't know. Just keep playing, play something out, go, 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 go. Like they're just doing this constantly. Like, I don't know, a xylophone? Yeah. And then you guys rest. I'll just play the xylophone for a while. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's the long songs are definitely a complicated endeavor. There's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure on them, and yeah, it's funny the point you make about ending ending a song where I always got annoyed with the fade out because
Yeah.
like literally like you see them in well you know what that is well back in the day that was for the to get radio play
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if you're but if you're between the buried and me I'm like it's really funny I'm like I just heard you do 20 of the most complicated guitar riffs
Right.
you can't figure out how to stop
You couldn't
clean
go bum bum bum. Like you couldn't just do that.
dude literally you could end
Just
every
stop.
you could end every song with what like take the main riff and you all just do accents on the main riff or something.
Yeah,
Ba
just
ba
go
ba 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 ba. Boom.
boom, done. Somebody just end it. Just stop playing.
Oh, it's so funny.
Well, I think that's how we end up with and I really do feel like this is a point that I think any performer could learn, any public speaker, any teacher, anybody that's speaking to other people. Self-editing is so fucking important.
Yeah.
If you can't like this to me feels like a failure when you are writing like when it is like your seventh hour-long album. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I feel like part of growth with a band is changing how you do things. Like I would like to see a band that does shorter albums do a longer album. I'd like to see bands that do longer albums, you know, that aren't just cover albums doing shorter albums. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Early Between the Buried and Me, they might have a 7 or 8 minute song in there every once in a while, but it felt like it was a little bit more efficient. You're telling the story and you had fans and you had growth. But when you get to a point where like you're writing these epic things, you know what I mean? Like NoFX, the point I was making earlier, has never released a studio album that is over like 40 minutes. Like
Mm.
pretty much the average and I even double checked this beforehand. The average length of most of their albums is about 36 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? That makes me love No Effects more because like as we're talking, I'm thinking about it more and like because I'm thinking about it more
You
like
don't feel gypped, like you were saying. You don't feel like you're getting like you know what I mean? Like you don't feel like you're getting
well,
like you're not getting screwed out of any kind of like
yeah, you're
you're
not
still
getting
getting
screwed out
seven
of anything.
songs. Yeah, and they're
Well,
entertaining songs that you love. They're punk songs. They're like two
well,
minute songs, 1 minute songs.
yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it's like a joint thing. The older
Yeah, dude.
yeah, wait, what does that mean?
You said a joint thing. I thought you meant like drugs, like marijuana.
That's illegal. Stop. But actually
Can we
that
cut
joke
that out?
makes that joke, yeah, dude. You're gonna get in trouble.
Can you cut that out? Honestly, Andy, stop recording. No, China, I'm so sorry.
That
I almost,
joke's
I almost was culturally insensitive just now. That could have been worse.
wait, China?
Yeah, I almost said something about being sorry.
Oh, okay. That's
Yep.
funny.
I'll
But
find it. I'll make you think of it.
it's funny too, actually, being in 2022, you're like, oh, that joke's less relevant because you're like,
Yeah.
it's pretty legal in most
It's
places.
actually like it's almost mandatory, you know.
Yeah, it's actually, which is a good thing, but that joke actually was not great.
Yeah. So hey, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, I thought it.
um Oh yeah, I was like the big thing too with like today, like thinking like talking about the length of things. You know, when like TikToks.
And
Yeah,
you're like,
dude.
we'll go over it, Steph. The length of things.
Yeah, sometimes something being a little short is
Doesn't really
better.
matter. But that's not actually that important, is it?
Is that's like the whole thing we're getting across? 40 minutes, 4 inches, whatever it
Same
may be.
exact thing.
It's the perfect length.
It's not. It's about the performance.
It's about the motion of the song,
Exactly.
not the
Sorry,
side.
I interrupted.
Not
The
the length of the prog rock concept album.
the length of things
Yeah.
is
Anyway,
important
penises,
to people.
penises. We're talking about penises. That's the joke. Penises. Anyway, um, oh yeah, with talking about like the length of entertainment and shit like that, with fucking TikTok being so popular and fucking Instagram Reels stealing TikTok and
Yeah, right.
fucking dude, even with like Twitter, it's like, someone wants you to read a funny paragraph. You're like, dude, I can like some dickhead wrote 10 words on Twitter that made me laugh the hardest I've ever laughed. Fuck your paragraph. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, with all this other shit, it's got people thinking, like, like, oh, people's attention spans are getting ruined or whatever the fuck. But, like, so I was like mulling that over while we're talking about this. And I'm like, I don't think it's an attention span thing because I think when it comes to artistic shit, this is at least my opinion, is the older I get, the more I realize like keep them wanting more is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Because it's all about a big part about like being a big part about like doing artistic shit is people like still wanting to fuck with you. You know what I mean? So there is this thing. That's why fuck the one knock. You don't really listen to Knock Loose, right?
Not on no, not
Have I
really.
played that song Counting Worms for you?
I don't think so. No.
It's really good, but like it's just this dope song with this like wild ass. The beginning's crazy. Like they go above the fretboard where the strings are,
Yeah.
and like scratch that, and it makes this crazy sound. But anyway, the song fucking rules, but it's only like a minute and a half,
Right.
and it's literally like it's like Knock Loose's most popular song
Yeah.
because every time you listen to it, you kind of got to listen to it about like 3 or 4 more times to get your fill on the
Yeah.
song.
I totally understand
So,
that.
so it's not coincidental that it's Knock Loose's most popular song because there is something when it comes to artistic things where it's like give them just enough but not too much. So they still always have that moment of like, oh, I gotta fucking go through this album, and then you kind of got them hooked where it's like if I get to the end of an album and I'm not fulfilled, I still have this feeling of like I'm gonna hop back in or whatever. So I think at the end of the day, I'll give 30 to 40 minutes. I'll take back
Yeah.
what I said earlier because I'm thinking back at like albums I love. Like one of my favorite albums was Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday.
Right.
Let me double check that one. Yeah, Tell All Your Friends. 33 minutes. Well, 33 minutes and 54 seconds, so 34 minutes. Like, so I think the sweet spot in album length is 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree too. And I'll double back on your thing what you're saying about the like length of even songs. Like you can write a song like my one of my favorite compilations growing up was 30-second or short songs for short people.
Dude, that shit ruled.
101 30-second songs. A lot of the songs were written for specifically for the album or for
Yeah.
the compilation. Some of them were already existing 30-second songs. But
Yeah.
there's a band that I don't think I listened to anything else by them. There
Except this one song.
This one song is to me probably a perfect song that every time I listen to it, I have to listen to it multiple times. And there's actually probably a couple songs on this compilation that I'm like, damn, I like it just rips. and it's band No Fun at All, and I believe the song is "Gotta Get a Grip" or "Get a Grip." I believe it is. I don't know the actual title, but it is. It's again, it's like probably even less than 30 seconds, but
Yeah.
it is perfect, and it like you said makes me go. I think I even like went to check out more by them, and it wasn't that song. So so I was like, "Fuck you, dude," and I was just like, but I don't care. I'm the biggest fan of that band
Yeah.
song, and
Dude,
it's 30 seconds. Like
bro.
they got a fan somehow by writing a 30-second song. So if you're talking about lengths of stuff, size doesn't matter.
Dude, for real. My one of my favorite Green Day songs is on that album.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
I forget.
yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what the fuck was it called? Green Day short. I just remember because the Ballad of Willem Fink because he said I remember something about it. He said something about like we'll get a jug of Boone. We'll get a Boone's Farm jug of wine.
Yeah, yeah.
Boone or Boone's Farm? Probably
Boone's Farm.
Boone.
Boone. Boon. It's a brand of wine.
Yeah. And then I remember something about just saying it that way stuck out to me. And
Yeah.
like and the song. And I always like it's why I like have you ever heard of the band the Andrew Jackson Jihad?
No.
Yeah. They're great. They're like they're fucking great. They started off as like this acoustic band
Uh-huh.
and they would play more like punk oriented acoustic.
Uh-huh.
It would be like acoustic songs, but you'd be like all of their songs sound, well, not all of them actually. That's not true because they had some sort of slow bluegrassy sounding shit mixed with like folk and whatever. But they would have some songs where you're like, this sounds like the acoustic version of an electric song, but there would
Yeah.
never be an electric song.
Kind of
And
like
then,
Against Me.
yeah,
Like early
yeah,
Against Me.
that's a really good comparison. But then
Speaking
they
of bands that
eventually
don't know how to fucking end a song, Jesus Christ.
what?
I said, speaking of bands that don't know how to end a song, that's fucking, they're absolute culprits of it. They were just go, but it's still, they go, "Bah," at the end, they just ring it out and then it's done.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's not pretty, but they end it.
yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
agree.
I was triggered earlier, but yeah, it was
It's
like
okay.
folk
It's
punk.
okay, baby. Yeah. Then the Andrew Jackson Jihad got drums and electric, and then also they just go by AJJ now.
Oh, fuck that. I'm crossing them out now. If they're not going by the whole name anymore, fuck it. I'm done.
Yeah,
I need the whole thing. I did the same thing with
it bummed
Jughead's
me out a
Revenge.
little. It bummed me out a little bit when they just were when they're just AJJ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
doesn't count.
just you guys I don't know. That's not offensive to me.
Nope.
Maybe it is in reality or whatever, but it's like that's the name. The name rules. It's
Yeah.
like
Andrew Jackson's on money. I think he's doing okay.
yeah. But
And
wait,
on money.
what band did that annoyed you?
What?
I cut you off. You said it reminded you of something.
What the Andrew? Oh, Jughead's Revenge.
They changed their name?
Yeah, thinking about it now because of the whole Riverdale success and everything now, but like it was a while ago that they changed their name from Jughead's Revenge to Jug's Revenge, but they like redid the old album art as like so like now that it's up on Spotify and shit like that, it just says they redid the text of it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, why are you doing that? It was already a thing. Like
Why
you're
did they
not.
change it?
I'm assuming some kind of legality with the Archie comics thing because Jughead, Jughead's Revenge, but it's also like Jughead isn't a like you can't just say Jughead. Am I gonna get sued because I'm saying Jughead a bunch? Fuck.
No, I think it's
Allegedly. Allegedly.
yeah, I don't know how that fucking works. I don't know. That shit's goofy. A lot of that copyright law shit is fucking goofy.
No, I don't know if that was the case. I didn't do any research of it, but it's kind of like I was like, come on, man, you guys were pretty cool. I liked you. No, I don't.
If it was for legal reasons, I get it, but if not, that's
You're a
crazy.
punk band. Fuck legal shit, dude. You're a
Yeah.
punk band. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, no, you could say fuck legal shit and then you got fucking you got to owe people a shit ton of money then.
I guess if they want to, I have them on my playlist. So if they want those plays, they gotta play games. Play ball. What? Play
Let's
ball.
get the old name, Jugs.
Let's
Anyway,
hey,
Anyway, I think we came to the resolution that 30
Also, a
to
cooler name. I just thought of a cooler name for Jughead's Revenge. Why not just Revenge? Way cooler fucking name.
there's probably some fucking UK synth pop band called Revenge.
Revenge, mate.
Hey,
No, it exists, mate.
oh, you wronged me. I'm gonna get revenge.
Now I'm trying to write an 18-minute song over here.
It's gonna be long, but it's gonna mean a lot. And if you don't get it, you're a wanker.
I'm singing it right now, if you couldn't notice.
All right, 30 to 40 minutes, best length. You agree, Pat?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That's a warning.
Or else we'll get revenge. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode. While we're taking this break, I wanted to suggest a song for you guys to listen to. Something that probably some of you are familiar with, but maybe I'm somebody that's just discovering this now. But it's a offshoot of a band I'm sure you've heard of, Primus. It's this little fun thing. Les Claypool and the Frog Brigade. Check out the song Cosmic Highway. Now, I'm somebody who is kind of hit or miss with Primus a lot of times. I respect the fuck out of him. But a lot of times with some of Les Claypool's things, it gets a little bit too much. So this song in particular, I think every part, when it starts to get a little bit too artsy fartsy for you, it goes into another part that just begins another whole journey. Maybe you should take mushrooms before you do it too, but check out Cosmic Highway by Les Claypool and the Frog Brigade. I think you're gonna like it.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. While we're taking this quick little break, I want to tell you about this one song I've been listening to recently. It's called Chlorine Tears by Foreign Hands. Foreign Hands is a really dope band I just found. They're kind of part of this, like with Sea Space Cowboy and bands like that, sort of bringing back the whole early 2000s screamo shit that they were doing, but they kind of do it in a much heavier way. And I've been really fucking with this. So go check out Chlorine Tears by Foreign Hands. I think you'll really like it. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, we are back. Thank you for everyone being here, still hanging out, watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, all that shit. I want to get into this, Patrick.
What is it?
It's what we like to call a pre-prepared topic. So recently, fine young man Drake got in a little bit of a scuffle with other fine young man Anthony Fantano. And when we were doing our pre-prep, found out you're not very aware of Anthony Fantano, are you?
I was not aware of him at all. Also, I do know Drake. He is a friend of mine.
You and Drake are very close. Actually, when he's walking through the six with his woes,
yep,
he's referring to Pat always asking if they could pull over to pee.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like me.
That's what he's talking about when he refers to his woes. He's like, I'm trying to get to the studio so I can text this girl to guilt her into or make her feel bad about something. Please. And then Pat's like, can we stop at the gas station? I need a soda pop.
Yeah,
I need a sody pop.
I want a taquito.
I know they're not good for me, but they taste good.
I'm half Canadian, so me and Drake are basically the same guy. So that's all I like to say.
Basically,
I don't have my chain on right now, but it's spitting image.
Mirror image. Basically the same guy.
Well, what's been going on with the old Drizzy?
Oh, well, let me tell you. No, it was an interesting thing. So I guess Drake hopped into. Let me actually pull up Anthony Fantano's YouTube channel. Oh, look, another subscriber. Thank you, everyone. What?
Any because they hit the likes.
Dude, that's so fucking fun. Oh wait, no, never mind. I searched Needle Drop and Drake. I was like, oh, Drake's fucking shitty album was trending. Actually, that is hilarious. So this all got started because Anthony Fantano, it started the build because Anthony Fantano, who, if you don't know, he's probably the biggest music reviewer on YouTube.
Okay,
so he actually
hip hop, just of everything, right?
Of everything, because literally, if you go on YouTube and search album, I'm gonna do it right now. If you go on YouTube and search album review, Yeah, look here. Look at this. I just searched album review. We'll do a quick little screen share. Boom. Anthony Fantano. Anthony Fantano. This Sean. Anthony Fantano. Some other asshole.
Sure.
Some other pieces of
Damn,
shit.
we're not up there.
And we'll get there, baby. Don't worry.
So, no, but you typed it in.
Oh, you think there should be a little bit of us?
Like, yeah, like I mean, like at least like act like you're doing something for us. YouTube.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm gonna think about that and be sad when I go to sleep tonight.
Sorry.
But so yeah, Anthony Fantano's a big
music
reviewer, probably like the biggest on YouTube. Like we just scrolled through about 30 videos. He was easily 20 to 23 of them.
Right.
So he's a big deal. So you know, these artists notice, and I guarantee you his reviews will affect streams and record sales and shit like that. And Anthony Fantano, the last 2 Drake albums, which I did not listen to the second last album, but I did listen to this last one. Have you gotten hip to this last one?
I don't mind it that much. I mean, I'm not the biggest Drake head, but I am familiar with, like, I like just music. I like when people put out music. I don't give a shit. I don't really judge on like what kind of, like, because considering that he's put out dance shit, like popular shit, I don't think his rap shit goes that hard anyway. Like he's a fucking Canadian.
Pat, no one listens to Drake because he goes hard.
But that's what I'm saying is like you're saying like, oh, this one's too dancey. Like, all right, well, like
okay.
Lothario.
Let me give my quick review of Honestly Nevermind.
He wants to jizz as much as possible in as many people, or like in, you know, while he's in other people.
Pat, you know me. I don't care about Drake's jizz. I have no beef with Drake's jizz.
You're right. We're cool with the jizz.
You're hammering a point that honestly, I love Drake's jizz.
You were telling me right before we hit record.
I said, don't you dare say a bad thing about this handsome young man. Yeah. I love his jizz.
And I was like, okay, sorry.
Honestly, I made it
really awkward.
I made it a little bit too big of a deal.
Yeah.
I was being a lot. No, here's the thing. It's not that the album is too dancey, because here's the thing about Drake. If you go from album to album, like let me look at these from chronological. He's put a lot of stuff. He's a busy boy.
He's prophylactic. Nope. No, that's prolific.
He takes propofol.
Yeah. Oh no.
But if you look through his albums, Drake is he picks his thing every album. So like earlier in his career, he was trying to be The Weeknd. The Weeknd was like, hey, stop stealing my beats. I'm not going to be on OVO anymore. And then Nothing Was the Same was kind of its own thing. And then he kept bouncing around to like different styles. And so I'm used to like fucking whatever his last hit is completely different than what was the one with all the memes and he's dancing in the sweater? She used to call me on her cell phone. That one.
Hotline Bling.
Hotline Bling. That one sounds completely different to like Big Rings, which was a big hit off his album with Future and shit. Drake has a very different and distinct sound every album. I have no problem with the shift in sound. It's that just from a sheer like song to song basis, it was, how the kids say, hot garbage. It just was very, very, very bad. Good. And I'm sure Drake's a nice fella, but it was just poorly constructed. They were not good songs. And Anthony Fantano fucking just butt fuck that song. I think he always does like a something out of 10. He gave it like a 1 out of 10.
Oh no, he gave it a not good out of 10.
Oh yeah, which is like a 0.
So like that was the thing. So I was reading through that thing and I was like, okay, so he has the scale, he does all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Drake is still Drake. Like, even though he puts out a bad album, he's still Drake. He could still be Drake.
That album's going to hit #1 no matter what.
No matter what. So ultimately what happens is he ends up sliding into Homeboy's DMs because
wait. You're getting a little head. No,
not really. He gave the review and then he did the thing.
Well, no, just like, so he gives the not good. Actually, you weren't getting that ahead. I apologize.
Yeah. I know. I was moving it along.
Pat, I have control issues. Anyway, go on.
No, I was just saying, like the fact that he slid into so Drake slides into Anthony Fantana's DMs.
Yeah, because he was giving him bad reviews, and because Anthony Fantana was like pretty big, these rappers try to like ignore him from time to time or whatever, but like he gets to him.
Right. Yeah, because
And
that's all you're doing. That was going to be my point. Was basically he does this and ultimately gains nothing. Like like what he now this guy gets to embarrass you again.
well, so actually, here's the thing. I don't 100% agree with that. And I think if we get deeper into the story, we can sort of break that down a little bit more. So what happens is Drake slides into his DMs. We don't really got it. They were weird.
Yeah, they were
But,
like
but well, here's the thing. From our perspective, basically no one knows this happened. And then but Anthony
right.
Fantano, he makes a video, which I don't know. I'm a bit of a comedy snob, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Like because I'm being overly critical.
Yeah.
But like he made this video where he was like breaking down his DM, or he was like, I'm gonna read the DMs. And the joke was he's just reading fake DMs of like conceptually it was very funny. Execution, it went way too long.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we get it.
It's not a
But
comment.
but also too, like he was doing a thing and he does it, he does it in the other video he put out talking about this topic, where he kind of has this like I don't care nonchalant, I'm trying to own Drake, but you're looking at all the effort that he's putting into like talking about this, and I'm like, bro, you care so much.
Okay, so this is my thing. Is the fact that I think how this does progress is he puts out that video, right?
Yeah, he
He
puts
puts
out
out
the
the video
DM video.
where he's saying like, oh, he did this, but the joke is, oh, these are the DMs. Oh, he did. It's like a hey, give me that recipe for that kale salad or
Yeah,
whatever salad,
vegan cookies or
vegan
something.
cookies, stuff like that. And but I think what you're saying is like I think what he wanted to happen is exactly what happened. I think that was a very obvious. I don't think you can call it comedy. I think it was a very obvious troll because he knew Drake is watching. He knows Drake is watching and he knows that he's familiar with his presence. And he wanted to have him go like, oh, Drake did this. He's got in my DMs and have him be all excited and go like, oh my God, like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Or just mention Drake again, but have the conversation go away from the album. Well, it went away from the album, but
yeah,
now what he did was trick Drake into releasing the DM conversation and
and
exposing that he is terrible at trash talk and he is a very sensitive. Well, we already knew he's a sensitive boy, but
yeah,
but he is a very sensitive artist that cannot take a bad review, even though he knows he has to know the general consensus is, I guess, like because that's all I've heard about this album. I've heard no
well,
Drake
so
album being garbage. So the fact that a YouTuber says, yeah, it's garbage, did he think that he was going to like help him if like the reviewer gave him a good review or something? Or is it just the fact that he knows he's the most popular one and he went after him? I don't understand the logic behind what.
behind Drake doing that.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think it is. Here's what I think it is. Because, like, here, well, I got the DMs right here. Let me read them real quick. Because, yeah, like Pat said, Anthony Fantano, he did the honorable thing by, like, not actually.
Yeah.
But then the capitalist in him was like, I'm still going to capitalize on Drake sliding into my
Yeah.
DMs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm still going to make money
I have
off of
to.
this.
I have to.
Because he kept saying, and I respect that for him, he kept saying that, like, how do I make this into content? I respected his honesty on that.
Yeah.
But he goes, Drake said to Anthony Fantano, he goes, your existence is a light one, which is for Drake's first fuck up.
Yeah, he rates him better than his album.
What, yo, I didn't even think about it that
album,
way.
you fucking idiot.
He rated, that's so fucking funny. He rated Anthony Fantano better than his album.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. Like it's officially in the annals of time that yours is not even a one. It doesn't even register a light one. And you're saying, well, actually, because he's Canadian. Canadians can't talk shit. They can chirp in hockey. They can chirp, but it's always in good fun. It's always, I'm just ribbing you, bud. You know what I mean? Like, so he's like, oh, your existence is like a light one, bud. Okay. Like it's like,
oh, okay.
Oh, burn, dude. Oh,
damn.
still better than your album, Drake, you idiot.
Damn, I didn't even think about it that way.
He's
But
a
you know,
fucking
but you know what
moron.
the other layer of why that's a fucking dumb thing to say? Because When
You're
because like
using his scale.
you're telling him you watch his video.
Yeah, you're in his world. You're a fan. So you're just saying. So it's basically you're just a butthurt fan, like every other fan that's like, I actually really like the Between the Buried and Me 18-minute songs that I'm sure we're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like you're just a commenter. You're just a fucking dork behind a keyboard like all of us. You fucking dork, Drake. And you're
Yeah.
shitty at shit talking, and you're living in his world. He is in your head, and he owns you, dude.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I agree that at this point he's revealing like he lives in his head. This is not the own that he thinks it is, and it was probably a bad call to like post the DMs the
And
way he did.
And Drake is so much better than this usually. Like that one guy that he ended up DMing his girlfriend, the one guy that was talking shit about him. Did you hear about that? There was
No.
a couple, I think like a couple months ago or something like that. Drake, somebody was talking shit to Drake on Instagram or something like that, and then Drake ended up finding the guy's girlfriend on Instagram, friending her, and then started DMing her. And I was just like, damn, that is fucking awesome.
Wait. Sorry, I was looking through Anthony Fantano's Twitter real quick. But wait, so
That's
who
a
was
way
the,
better
who
like
was the guy?
it was just some dude. It was some like dude on Instagram or whatever. Like it
See,
wasn't a famous person.
nah, see that actually that makes Drake seem sadder to me.
You think so? I don't know, because he was just kind of. It's kind of like one of those things of like it was a I could just do this if I wanted to, right?
It'd be one
If I wanted to
thing.
be with your girlfriend, I could just go, hey, leave that dickhead.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It'd be one thing if they were at like a club or it was like a Drake concert and Drake was minding his own business and this guy starts popping off and he's just like, "Oh, you think you're the fucking man?" And then Drake turned to his girl and was like, "Sweetie, you want to hang out with a real man tonight?" And then she goes and fucks Drake and does all that shit. That would be one thing. But then for Drake to get fucking up it like to get in his fucking shit over some random guy and then start messaging his girl and doing all that's a little weird to me.
So I will say, I gotta hear. He even went at it in a funny way, if I may. I think I got it here. Drake may have started something with "I'm here for you, ma." So basically, what it was is hold on, here it is. Cool. It's just gonna keep linking me to other things. Awesome.
I guess like my perspective on that is just like especially with rappers who are and Drake's a huge proponent of this of just constantly being like rapping about how he's the fucking man and then to like do some shit like that it just goes so contrary to the image that it like I don't know, man. It doesn't come off as cool to me. You got the article?
It was something about he made somebody made a comment about him using ghostwriters. So
Yeah.
Champagne Poppy on Twitter or whatever is he posted something about it's this long thing. Imagine your son makes the league and he's Jay or Mello or Lonzo. All you can do is be elated and compensate. Like it's just him talking shit about basketball players, right?
The guy or Drake?
Drake, and then
Yeah.
somebody commented on that. Some dude, this guy says, your son probably play with ghostwriters, and then just follow, and then Champagne Poppy, Drake,
Yeah.
responds with, just followed your girl because she's probably miserable and needs some excitement in her life. And then like the guy actually comment and like found the girl, Tony Bowden, I guess, or her name is,
Yeah.
and actually followed her. He said, "Oh no, he really DM'd my wife," and she says, and he DM'd her, "I'm here for you, ma."
Yeah, that's like I don't know. That's like way sadder.
But he's not actually going to like. I believe that was a truly intended and comedic attempt. It was also a flex, and I think it was execution was perfect by saying like he wasn't like, "Hey, I'll be with you if you want. You can leave it." But I think it was like it's a subtle flex on the dude. It's a pretty funny response as far as like, "Hey man, stop talking shit about me, or I'll fuck your girl." But
Yeah.
he's not actually gonna fuck his girl. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Here's what I
I
think a
think
better
realistically,
here's
it,
what I think a better response would be is
what
if Drake figured out like maybe he like looked on their social, figured out something they like and like like Drake figured out a way to get them something that he could never afford for her.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm
That
saying. It's
that
the same idea. Yeah. Like if she was
that
like,
would
oh, I
be,
would
but
love
just
tickets to your show. And he's just like, yeah, sure. VIP, you can go.
yeah, but just no. Oh, that would be great.
Even
Just be
better.
like DM her, be like, I got you 2 VIP tickets to my show. But to just hit her up and be like, I DM this guy's wife. It like I don't know, but
To me, like, but as far as shit talking, like that was way more clever, way better. But with
yeah,
this guy, this fucking YouTuber that says the same thing everyone else is saying, you're
yeah.
like, no, you're actually just slightly better.
Well,
And you're
that's the funny. So that's the funny thing. Going back to this and actually tying into what you said. What are the two things they were talking about in these two scenarios?
yeah,
Anthony Fantano was talking about
Ghost Rider.
the album that sucks,
Yeah, yeah,
and the other guy is shitting them on Ghost Riders.
right.
And they're both two like valid points. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like the album, I'm not even trying. I'm not trying to be shitty or funny or whatever the fuck. That album is bad. It is
yeah,
very bad. And you got called out for the Ghost Rider shit where people get help on songs, but then when you listen to the reference tracks, it was like he did a lot of the writing. Like
yeah,
he even figured out flow for Drake and all this
yeah.
other shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
So
you're just a you're still a great performer. You're still a personality. You still, but like as far as everything else, if you did it, it's just they're just bringing up something that happened.
but here's the thing though, is like what Drake is doing in these scenarios is showing that like he knows in his heart, he knows these things are true things to like shit
Right.
on him for.
Yeah.
And he's so like that's the thing. He thinks he's being clever, but he's showing like the things that really fucking get to him.
Yeah.
So he
That's
posts
what I'm
these
saying. He's letting everybody know what gets to him. Like
yeah,
everybody knows how to get to him now.
yeah.
But also if it doesn't actually get to him, because really, again, what is this really doing? Well, like what has this really done except for get us to talk about Drake again? Like the bad album's already just a bad album. This is not going to hurt anybody's like opinion of him, really. I don't think because
No,
again,
this will at the end of the day not hurt Drake at all. It'll just make like
got us talking
hip
about.
hop. It'll just make like hip hop heads and people like us who have podcasts like talk about him and shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I will say this though, and I will say this though about Anthony Fantano is now it's kind of funny. Before this all happened, I did not like Anthony Fantano at all. I thought he was just like I thought his whole way of reviewing was just very like like dismissive and pretentious and shit like that. And I was not into him, but I was like I always like to make sure I have a well-rounded opinion on things and like, you know, I hate to cuz I have a tendency to pop off. And I would always hate to pop off and then later find out, "Oh, you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about." So
Yeah.
I was watching more of like Anthony Fantano shit because the video he put out about Drake where he was like coming at Drake, it just felt like a lot. And then I realized because I realized what watching some of his interviews and then watching his album reviews where he's like in his zone, where he's just talking about music. He's in his zone. And then but then he's trying but then in this video he makes where he's like shitting on Drake, you can tell he's kind of like doing a character where he's like, I fucking own Drake. But if you look at the video where he's like, I'm owning Drake, or you look at this, he did like an Instagram live for like 15 minutes where it's like, okay, or and then you go on his Twitter where like the day it happened and he's literally got like 10 tweets and a million retweets about the whole thing. Where it's like, okay, Drake did one post, although it was embarrassing, he did one post. You turn this into 2 whole days of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you start to do this thing.
Yeah.
You start to do this thing where the pendulum swings back, where it's like you're not really owning him that much.
You know
because
what?
here's my point. Here's my long roundabout point why it kind of annoyed me is because he's trying to be very nonchalant and he's trying to be like, what's the deal, Drake? I don't, what the fuck? I don't get that. I know for not a fact, obviously I don't know for a fact, but I am very confident that when this happened, here, let me grab my phone. This is what I think happened when he realized he looked at his phone and he went, what? Huh? What the fuck? What the? And like, you know, that thing where you're like, did Drake just fucking DM me?
Yeah.
He's like, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying,
Yeah,
I'm
for
not
sure.
saying, I'm not saying he was like fangirling out, like, oh my God. Cause like if Drake DM me, I wouldn't fangirl out. I don't listen to his shit like that. But I would look at my phone and go, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is Drake DMing me? So like, and then he tries to like overly nonchalant it in the shit. And that was just, I was just like, yo, it's fine if this is, you can spaz and be like, this is fucking weird. But I thought he was trying to be, because he kept hammering the point home. He's like, Drake is obsessed with me. Drake, and it's like, Drake did one thing. You said Drake was obsessed with you for 2 whole days straight.
Yeah.
It feels like you're being obsessed with him. And so that's where I realized I was like, he was being a little phony in the video, because if you look at his other shit, like I was saying, look at him in interviews, look at him doing album reviews. The guy's very smart. The guy knows what he's talking about. I went down this rabbit hole. Do you know Channel 5 News?
Yeah.
He used to, if anyone doesn't know, he used to be all gas, no brakes. And I watched this Channel 5 News where they did this thing on drill music in Chicago. And God damn it, I'm yelling so much. I'm getting fucking parched, baby.
Yeah.
But he did this thing on drill music in Chicago, and he like interviewed Anthony Fantano for it. And they're just talking, and he's like breaking down all this shit about drill music. And it was actually, it was fun because I like got through this whole thing being like, oh shit, Anthony Fantano actually doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like the dude really, and all this roundabout shit comes to my ultimate point where I realized why this guy gets people so mad and so worked up, because he's very thoughtful in his album reviews. He's incredibly thoughtful. And I'm like, why do I remember him being a pretentious cunt? Why do I remember that? And I stopped and I looked at him and I go, oh, it's his face and glasses combo. That's what it is. That's why he gets, because there's been a bunch of rappers who get mad at him, and it's his face, and he wears the perfectly round hipster glasses, and he's always wearing like a cool
flannel,
guy shirt.
Yeah, flannel or button, polo tie.
If he's giving you a negative review, and then you look at his
fucking dork,
you look at his face, all logic goes out the window, and you're like, fuck this motherfucker. So Drake saw this guy's face, and like you just said, he goes, this fucking guy said my shit sucks. And reality doesn't make sense to you at that point. Reality doesn't make sense to you at that point. So that's why his face caused Drake to fucking slip.
And you know what? This is it, to your point, speaking on that. Like, this may be a long con thing, because he was probably like one of those things of like, oh look at you got millions of views. Oh, that's cute. Okay, cool. Watch this. And then dropped him like this. And he's like, that's what celebrity feels like. You're not a celebrity. You're not fucking anything because you get views on YouTube and you say shit about albums and shit like that. I'm something. I'm the thing that people are talking about. That's how, like, you thought you were popular before, but now, like, because that's the thing is he's also shining a light on this person, saying like, because how many people didn't know about this fucking guy that are now like, who's this fucking guy? And like you said, now they're fans of him.
Yeah.
So now he can be even like, remember when you were only at 3 million views, you fucking bitch? I made you.
Bro, that's the best point where you're saying like now you're fans of him.
Yeah.
Bro, Drake, I hated this guy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion, Drake.
Now I'm curious what he thinks about stuff.
Yeah.
Way to go, Drake.
You should see if we can get him on the show.
I would love to have him on the show. I would sit quietly and listen. I think he's very intelligent.
I'd ask him to put a hat on or something. Maybe change his glasses. But like, you know.
Oh yeah, if he had those circle glasses, I'd fucking let him know they stunk.
What if he's like, oh yeah, sure, I got a hat right here, and puts on like a bolo hat. You fucking.
Oh yeah, dude, he's gonna hit an unnecessary inside beanie. You know he's gonna
like, and pull it like, and have it like stuck here like this.
Yeah. But no, it was no, it I'm telling you, like, I watched this interview and he was like talking about life and society, and just seeing like the dead-eyed nihilism in his face, I was like, oh, this guy he seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he's put some thought into this, and there wasn't just wasn't snap judgment, but absolutely. By when I saw the pictures of them next to each other, first of all, the pictures of them in the link you sent, you know, the image, the article. Cover art or whatever. Yeah, the article is basically two of the douchiest people I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? if you see a
Oh,
still of Drake
for
and a
real,
still of this
Drake's
guy, you're like, oh my god, I don't fucking care about either of these dickheads. And then you
dude.
read it and you're like, oh, I care a little less.
Oh, you know what? Here, let's show the people this picture real
Yeah.
quick, dude.
It's
For
you
real,
see it and, like
you
you just go, what the fuck?
you see
Who
Drake,
cares about these
you
douchebags?
see Drake and his perfect
Yeah,
edges
like
on
the
his
little
hair,
edge and everything. Yeah,
turtleneck, chain, and then yeah, dude, you
fucking
see
guy.
the circle glasses and the flannel buttoned all the way to the top.
Actually, Drake, he's just like, hey man, you're a 1 out of 10. Oh, thanks, Drake. I appreciate it.
That's cool, Drake. You're not good.
Yeah, you're not good out of 10. It's like this is the fucking beef. Like nobody, like I understand. I don't want somebody to get killed. I don't think that's right. I think violence on anybody that doesn't want it.
Wait. Drake's not that kind of right. He's not
But,
killing
well,
anyone.
no.
Right?
What I'm saying is like last week we had somebody getting shot at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and then like this week they're like, you're a 1 out of 10. Oh yeah, you're a not good out of 10. You know what I mean? Like what? What the fuck is happening? And it's basically by two Muppet babies, and I don't know why we need it. We don't, but hey, we're talking about them.
Hey man, we
Hey,
content baby.
content, baby. Hey, like even Drake can point at this video. I hope he does. Drake, if you're watching, please hit like or subscribe. I will say that directly to Drake. I don't feel bad about that. Anybody else, you don't have to. But he can even point at this video and go like, I even got other people making videos about your stupid fucking videos, you stupid fuck. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea who Andrew Santino was before. What's his name?
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee. Whoever this.
Yeah, he does the podcast with Anthony
uh,
Fantano.
Brandon Schaub. But like whoever this guy is, like you said, like you got a fan out of you, and now I am aware of who he is, and I will also check out his content.
Dude, that's
Drake can take credit for that, not him.
on it, dude. I didn't even think about it that way till you said it, but that's sort of like it encapsulates it's like the perfect representation of the slip up of Drake even hopping into this guy's DMs.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, I thought this guy was the fucking worst before 2 weeks ago.
Made me find out about him,
and now I'm literally like I literally subscribed to his YouTube channel while we were talking about him.
You hit like and subscribe?
I didn't hit like. I don't like another man's videos. Never, not once.
Yeah, that ends up in a playlist, and I don't feel comfortable about that. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's weird. YouTube's like, it's private. Don't worry. And you're like, why is it there?
Yeah, why do I have that?
Why is it there? You're collecting
want them
data.
to know I like it.
I don't collecting data.
I don't like it.
But yeah, so yeah, that's that you made the best point of the whole thing, and I guarantee you Drake has helped made more fans for this guy. And then on top of it, you're like I'll reiterate this point, and then we'll wrap up this segment. But like I think, unless you got something to say, Pat, but I'm not a dictator. I'm a gentle lover. No, but but like just DMing this guy because you're gonna tell a guy he's a light 1 out of 10, but then you're still gonna like, and you're claiming your album rules. But you're like, you're telling this guy he sucks, but you're going to go through enough effort to actually like slide into his DMs.
Yeah.
I think you're letting us know that your last album was very bad.
Right. You're not.
That's what I think is happening with Drake right now.
I think you should choose self-deprecation going forward and just be like, hey, well, at least it's not your face. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, if you're going to make lame suggestions, like, or lame jokes or whatever it is, or like do or bring attention to them at all.
Yeah.
Just try to I know he's better than this.
Yeah.
The hot sauce and the condom thing, and then that other guy sliding in that lady's DMs, like that specific one. Because then again, it's the same thing. All he did was one message to his fucking girl, and then it turned into so many other posts, and then it became a news story. So like he can go, that's my power, and he gets a little his ego boosts back to say like, okay, I put out a shitty album, but I'm still completely relevant apparently. So good. and it
And
reassures him, and he's fine.
I'll say this. It's kind of ironic because in the first segment we were talking about bands. How do you just not end something? And we are literally the worst at ending a conversation. But you reminded me that would be great when we just start rambling. The podcast should just fade out.
So, and Andy, I just think if we were just going to,
but but no, I think about it this way, like these artists, and I know this is easier said than done, but like these artists get like, I don't know, they get really protective of their albums, which I get. They spend a shitload of time on them. I would too if I spent that much time on one thing, you know what I mean? That amounted to like not even a whole hour. You know what I mean? I'm sure that last Drake album was not even, you know what I mean? Like he spends probably months, if not years, on where is it? He spends months, if not years, on 52 minutes of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to have someone shit on it, it's gonna fucking trigger you probably. But at the same time, like Eminem was going through that. He had a string of like, and it was when he was going through like a heavy drug addiction. So, you know, you give him a little bit of a pass, but he had a string of like some really shit albums. Now, I don't listen to Eminem a shitload, but the vibe I got from Eminem fans talking online is they were just kind of being like, yeah, it's really fucking bad. But then he came back. He put out this album called Kamikaze. I don't know if you listened to it, but
I actually like that one a lot. Yeah.
It's very good. And, you know, Eminem can be a little bit of a fucking weirdo sometimes, but what artist isn't? But he was very fucking clear on that album. He's like, I realized where he fucked. He's like, I realized where he fucked up. Or I shouldn't say he's like a weirdo. I just think he kind of like was shitting on himself a little too much. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, the albums weren't good, but you're still fucking Eminem, dude. Chill.
Right.
But like
maybe he could have slid into some DMs and maybe got a little bit of that exposure, had those stories trend, and then maybe had his ego boost a little bit more.
But no, what Eminem did is he's like, all right, I'm just gonna. He's like, I acknowledge that shit was really bad. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put out a really good fucking album. And I thought Kamikaze was really fucking good.
Yeah, I do too. I like it a lot.
It's very good.
I think that's also a good answer too. But like he was still. So I guess that would be the point too, because he's still very sensitive and he's still very transparent with his sensitivity as well, because he does say like how much he hates, you know, he's like, oh, you give me bad reviews, fuck you, motherfucker, and says talks well, he does all the shit talking in his songs as well. So like that would be an option for Drake as well. Just, you know, save all the YouTubers that you hate, and then when you're coming to writing your next album, if you're still angry, then you can mention them in the track.
Yeah. No, but I think actually to what you said is you were saying were you saying Drake is transparent?
No, Eminem. I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, because that's like, that's the big thing. That's the big thing is like Eminem's very transparent about it, and people respect that, and he feels like a real person.
Yeah.
Drake is not transparent. He's trying to act like a fucking cool guy and do all that shit. But here's the thing, though, Drake, because he's switching his style up every fucking album, and he sort of appeals to the young kids who either don't know or don't give a fuck. And I'm not, you know, it's not young kids' responsibility to fucking give a fuck about artistic integrity. That's what us old idiots do. Yeah. But like Eminem's a different story. The young kids don't fuck with him that way, but they still fuck. Drake's still relevant with the young kids.
Right.
So he's still going to be like on top with that shit. It's just older people will not like, I think most people our age that sort of listen to music or listen to hip hop regularly, it'll be a thing of like, all right, I'll check out the next Drake album just cause like it's a fucking big thing. But no one, I feel like older people aren't going to be like, oh, I'm fucking into Drake.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if any of your, and I'm not trying to do some like basic bitch, like, you know, some basic bitch toxic male shit, but like at the same time, like, can you imagine like your grown ass friend being like, Drake's my favorite rapper?
Yeah, it would be. It's weird. It's like the same way I feel about like adults that watch Euphoria. It's kind of like, what do you? It's kind of like, it's. I get it. I understand, and they're all, you know, It's everybody experiences art in different ways and whatever. Yeah. It's also like,
but you're a pedophile and I'm calling the cops.
Yeah, I feel like that's a red flag. That's a big red flag. So like if somebody was like, because it's the same way I feel about like if somebody says like a very popular band is like their absolute favorite band. And
Yeah.
I don't lose all respect for them, but I lose a lot of respect for somebody that says like Foo Fighters is their all-time favorite band unless they like grew up listening to them.
Yeah, no, and
Thing
these are the,
like if it's like a younger person that's like Foo Fighters is my favorite band, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no,
well,
they're
no,
not.
that's who.
I love the Rolling Stones. What?
No,
Why?
that's like no, that it is for younger kids though. It's like Green Day. Green Day. No, dude, when if you're into like punk rock in high school,
Yeah, yeah.
it makes sense that Green Day is your favorite band.
Like, but
That's
in
what.
that time, but would it be even then though? Like, I'm saying like a younger person, but I'm not saying that necessarily. I'm saying like they're not. I don't know. I guess they wouldn't see it the same way as Green Day, but I guess you're right. That's a good point because it can be like if you're, but like what is Foo Fighters? Alternative rock and roll. Like
Well,
you know,
so Foo Fighters to get into this conversation, I have to acknowledge that I'm about to sound incredibly pretentious. But
any glasses laying around?
where's my sweater? But how do I say this? Like Foo Fighters is they're the Foo Fighters is the favorite band of the guy that really likes music but doesn't really know about music. Like can't play an instrument,
Yeah.
does
But
like
even, like
doesn't have like a deep. God damn it, I sound
I'm sorry.
pretentious.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. But like they did that one that series where they were going to different studios and they were recording in each individual studio like a new song in each studio. And dude, there like it's like one of the most phoned in like overproduced bullshit albums I've ever heard in my life. And it's
Yeah.
like and to say like and they have a lot of that stuff and that's just my opinion of that band. But even listening to that to listening to what they were, it's not even the same thing at all. So if you're saying that that's your alt, that's my favorite. This is the best band ever. I see them. I've seen them 17 times. It's kind of like, yeah, but don't they like put out a lot? Haven't they been putting out a lot of bullshit? But maybe they just grow with them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm somebody again. That's why I always preface what my favorite band is not. I would never say that they're the best band in the world.
Yeah.
It's my favorite band.
Well, dude, like the
But
best Foo
they,
Fighter, and here's the thing: I'm not saying the Foo Fighters are bad. I'm not saying that the guys in the band aren't talented. They're all very talented.
yeah, they're it's shown. Like that's what I'm saying. It's proven. Like
Yeah,
you're not going to convince somebody one way or another on Foo Fighters anymore.
yeah,
They're not yours.
yeah, but um, even the best Foo Fighter song is you hear it and you go, "Damn, that's pretty good for mainstream music."
Yeah.
That's the best you'll get out of me from a Foo Fighter song. You go, if more mainstream music sounded like this, we'd be in a better place. But it's not. I've never listened to a Foo Fighter song and been like, fuck, holy shit. But I don't get me wrong, I have liked a few of their songs.
Yeah, I guess just as far as like main like they were just that. They were just that like any I guess that's a great point to make is like when somebody picks a mainstream band like that or
Yeah.
a very popular band like Bruce Springsteen or something else, you know, we've talked about that son of a bitch in the past. But like but they're just like this
That
is the
hoity-toity
best.
fuck.
This is the all-time best, and then they go into deep cuts and they start playing it, and you're just like no, this is
Yeah.
terrible, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
know that it's a lot of times it's preference, but it's also like I cannot actually say that Bruce Springsteen is not good because it's proven that he actually is.
He has
So
not.
it's like
Yeah. Like he
you
has got
can't be like,
numbers
no, no,
on his
no.
side.
I'm Bruce's number one fan. Like, no, I don't think that exists anymore. There is no more number one fans for them because you're all either fanatical or you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I like their stuff on the like you said, like you. Like if you got free tickets to the Foo Fighters, you'd go see them, right?
If I wasn't doing anything.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I
No,
mean.
here's my thing. I don't enjoy concerts if I don't know enough of the shit. Like I
Yeah.
have a pre I
This is a weird.
I'd
I
have to
understand
go.
this is a weird conversation to have because
No,
we
let me here,
definitely have.
sorry, no, let me say this. Like say I went to go see like Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah,
I
love it.
don't I don't know like in my heart like I don't know their songs by heart, but you've heard enough to know. But they're like a big fucking band, and I could go into Earth, Wind and Fire not knowing a fucking like just knowing September, and I know enough that like oh I'm gonna have fucking fun.
Yeah,
There's something about a rock band like Foo Fighters that I'm like if I don't know the music, I can't just stand there and be like, wow, I really appreciate this. I can
yeah,
really appreciate this shit. It'd have to be like it'd have to be like some wild jazz band or like a big fucking like if there's like a big like Brazilian band where they got a million
yeah.
horns and all this shit. It'd have to be like a fucking thing.
And that's what I'm saying, like an event, almost like a fair, or like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like something else has to be going on, because that's what I'm saying is with the Foo Fighters, if I'm being honest, like I feel like artistically, like what they were doing as far as like putting out interesting and new art, like stopped with what was that one, the Pretender, what did I say about like the other, one of these things are not like the other, like that song,
Yeah.
The Pretender. That song sucks, dude. That album is stinkeroo. But like it's that's what I'm saying is like once they start putting out that stuff, and like people are still like that's the best, they're the best, and they just continue. It's just like I call it into question. I feel like it's more of a complacency, but it's also like again, like I said, somebody.
Yeah,
I,
but
my favorite bands are bullshit to another person that says it's total. You know what I mean? Like I do give a little bit to that, but when like it's always the number one band conversation. I don't know how we even got on.
dude, you know what? You just reminded me. You know what band I can't like if I meet a fan of theirs in person, I'm like, now don't get me wrong. A lot of fans of a lot of shit are the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah, yeah.
Like Rick and Morty, amazing show, the most annoying fans. It's like, oh, you figured out the really good thing is good? Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
You know what? You see, you look like a guy that would watch it. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just like it's dude, but I used to know this one guy that like he would get offended if I told him I don't give a shit about 21 Pilots.
Oh, what?
Yeah, dude, that is some basic bitch mainstream rock.
Ugh. Yeah.
21 Pilots, that's some basic bitch shit. Cause they are, I don't know, man. It's just
Look, these are bands that I'm saying I like the Foo Fighters. That's the point.
yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is
I
like
like them too.
I think that there's some good Bruce Springsteen songs. I think there's some good Rolling Stone songs. But as far as like saying that's my favorite band, it's kind of like really
See, I would give
they hit all the fucking marks for you.
I would
You
give
think?
Rolling Stones. I would give someone more of a pass on the Rolling Stones. Oh, I only say that because I was reading their guitarist book, and like they were really like their early shit. They really put a lot of effort into like making it like sound authentic and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But yo, thinking about that, I always get
But like
fascinated with. I always get sorry. Go on.
no, no, I was gonna say, but they did that early on, right? And
Yeah,
then stopped, and then just have been phoning it in for as long as they've weren't, or
sure,
long. So it's
sure.
like, so I think there's a hefty price to pay for a lot of times, and going back to past episodes that we've done, maybe to justify possibly why No Effects would stop when they're stopping. Maybe they feel like they're starting to get complacent and they're just kind of spinning their wheels. Like
Oh, talking about no effects.
yeah,
Yeah.
if them breaking up, because maybe that's they. I think they've hit 40 years, or they're coming up
No,
on
they
40.
well,
It'll be their 40th year.
I think if they are actually breaking up, I think it's because they're like, oh shit, we're at 40 years. And then if they have a feeling of like, we're not really it's not really our passion anymore, I
Right.
can see them sitting around being like, yeah, 40 years is a good time to break up.
Yeah, like then I would just be like, I think we did a good job. We had a very successful career. We can always go back if we want to, like as long as
Yeah.
we're all around. And it's also like one of those things of, but like as far as creating new art, I don't think we're not really doing it anymore. Or it's not as fulfilling anymore. Or it's not as much, it's not as obligatory anymore. Like maybe
Well, you know what's ironic? They just put out what was the fucking song they just put out where they essentially like rewrote Linoleum?
yeah, new low. I can't say it. I can't. It's like a dyslexic kind of thing. I can't say it. But yes, it was off of their latest
Lin what? No.
Linoleum, New Lolium.
Oh, it's linoleum with the word new in the
New in
middle
it.
of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's really hard to
Yeah,
say.
they
Linoleum,
literally
linoleum. I think it is.
linoleum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Also, by the way, the featuring Avenged Sevenfold is so fucking
Dude,
funny.
and they fucking kill it. Like they play the begin. They actually are playing at the beginning of that song.
Oh no, the song's fucking great.
Yeah.
But I remember I watched the video like two or three times, and I really like was listening to the lyrics and shit. And like the lyrics of the song are them just being like, why do you guys like this song so much?
That's what
It's
I'm saying.
literally about fucking nothing. So there's this energy to them where they're like, it almost feels like not nihilistic. That's too dramatic.
But they updated the song. They it's basically the same chords, the same thing. You guys can still sing along and everything, but we have to sing something else because it's fucking boring for
Well,
us.
they
We
updated
hate
they
this.
updated the song to like, and I don't think they're just being self-deprecating. I think they
No.
updated it to genuinely shit on it.
Yeah, and it's being practical. We'll still play it. We don't. We're gonna make it a little bit more exciting for us, and
Yeah.
also you still get like it's like it almost seems like governmentally like engineered in a lab to be perfect to satiate no effects and the fans at the same time,
Sure.
and they still get full satisfaction out of it because all they want to do is sing linoleum. Like I love Linoleum. I think it's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's their best song. I don't think that's their greatest album. I'm not some dickhead that has to sing it at every punk show. It's that the like every time it's covered. I'm not that dickhead that's going yeah like I've heard it enough times. I get
That
it.
made me laugh actually watching the video. I was like,
Of all the bands doing it, yeah,
because I like Linoleum. It's a good. I'm also
yeah,
not like a no effects guy like that, but I like Linoleum, and I was like, oh, is this song really like is this song big like that?
yeah.
And
It's
then to
like
have no effects shit on the song is so funny.
yeah. So it's funny that and they even put out two music videos because they had that many submissions for videos that they had like two with like all different footage from those bands and stuff like that.
That's so funny.
So it's a thing where like bands maybe could come to a point where I would buy it more legitimately because like again like Rolling Stones they still are putting out albums, dude. Like stop putting out Ozzy Osbourne put out a new album. Fuck off. Just you are
Yeah.
incredible. You have the legacy.
Well,
Like the body of work part, you're only going to diminish your fucking legacy by doing that because at a certain point people are going to be like, I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne's your favorite of all?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the comparison where
Like Black Sabbath? No. Ozzy Osbourne. Like, all right. Okay.
well, there's a lot of bands that are smart and they go out like actually there's not as many bands that do. More bands should be better about this. Just
Yeah.
like in wrestling terms, they go out like Shawn Michaels.
No, yeah, no one.
And Shawn Michaels, like, he went out when he was on top, and the only time he came back was to get a fat ass Saudi check.
Oh yeah, doing the Crown Royal or
Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
But like he went out, and then there's a lot of bands that sort of go the way of the Undertaker. And if there's any wrestling fans, I don't want you to think I'm about to disrespect the Undertaker, but the Undertaker sort of had this like amazing career, and then he kind of kept going a little bit longer than he should have.
Once
And if you go watch the Undertaker's like last 5 to 10 matches, a couple in there are pretty rough.
one of them was just like a scene from a movie. The last one.
Well, that's how they ended with like COVID and shit.
That's how bad it was him just going like,
Well, no, that was more COVID. not to be a wrestling nerd right now, but that was more COVID because
sorry, AD, started to bring comedy into it.
knowing the well, I mean,
actually, Pat, shut the fuck up.
Pat,
huh?
I was tiptoeing into disrespecting the Undertaker, and I was shitting my pants. And you started to actually do it, and I was ready to pounce.
You're right. I forgot you're a big Blue Lives Matter guy.
You know it. Look at my fucking face in my hat.
Yeah, it's a sticker on the other side of that water bottle.
No, I was just thinking about that. Not to go off on a political tangent, but I was just thinking about that because I saw another video of just Here's the thing, especially doing CrossFit, I know some good cops. There's good cops out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Same thing
Um,
with jiu-jitsu. I've learned the same.
but you can't get into fitness or fighting without meeting a bunch of cops.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I wish more cops were doing jujitsu.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, if most of them, because like that's a nice safe way that you can actually neutralize someone,
Yeah,
right? But like it's also like a cool way to learn, like you can roll with somebody that's probably gonna smell like weed and realize they're not a fucking scumbag. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's very true.
it really helps you to get to know people. But
But
sorry,
I saw
I
this
digress on
video.
your digression.
I saw this video today where it was what's like a high school cop called? A
uh
truancy officer?
yeah, resource officer usually.
Yeah, they always give him like they should just call him school cop.
Yeah.
And there was this kid apparently
21 Jump Street.
there was this kid at gym class who apparently was like, my tummy hurts. I'm not doing gym,
Uh,
which he's probably bullshitting.
and the cop
But,
shot him.
but no, the cop was like, no one skips kickball. No. So the kid was like, I have a tummy ache. I'm not doing gym. So the teacher called the truancy officer on him, which I gotta get more info. So if I'm not
Yeah.
getting something right, but then I'm watching the video and the cop is just like talking to the kid and the kid's like, yo, like the kid's getting fed up with just being fucked with. So he's kind of like mouthing off to the cop a little, which I will say it's like, it's best not to mouth off to a cop, but at the
Yeah.
same time, the cop immediately puts his arm on his shoulder and the kid's like, yo, dude, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Which it's like, yeah, dude, don't fucking like. It's not a thing.
Everybody's escalating.
It's not a thing yet, and
That's what I call a double E situation. That's where everybody's escalating.
yeah, that's yeah, and fucking, and then the cop and the kid starts like mouthing off the cop, and the guy, and I think he called him something or whatever the fuck, but the cop starts going like, the cop like doesn't give a fuck about like the case that's happening. He just immediately starts going. He's like, what'd you say to me? What did you call me? What did you say to me? And you're like, dude, stop.
Yeah. You're
That's
just
not your job is not to big dick this kid. That's gonna be taken weird. I really wish I wouldn't talk so fucking stupid. But it's like your job is to not try to like get tough on this kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Your job is to de-escalate a situation.
We were talking about 60 days in before the show, and that's you'll see that on that becomes an issue a couple times in 60 days in with a certain a corrections officer,
Yeah,
the inmates, and basically like like instigate, not just instigating, but then also like at some points kind of torturing because they're in the position of power like that.
in jail.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you.
Are you telling me that conditions in jail aren't up to snuff?
Not only not up to snuff, Andy, but if I may be a little candid right now, not favorable.
That's
Yeah.
Pat.
If I've ever
Don't
wanted
take.
to go to jail, now is the time. Okay, I do not want to go to jail. There's apparently like cockroaches in there, and like commissary is expensive.
The beds, not the comfiest.
Not subpar, maybe at best 1 star.
But no,
Not
dude, that
good out of 10.
and that shit, dude, like the funniest thing I ever see cops do is the cops will be like, give me your license registration, or they'll start going into their thing of like trying to put cuffs on them, and the people will go, why am I being arrested?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
when you're interacting with a cop who's arresting you, a very fair question.
super fair and and honestly non-confrontational.
Yeah,
not being confrontational at all.
Yeah.
You're handcuffing me. You're being confrontational. Can you please tell me what the confrontation's about, sir?
You're the one attempting to kidnap me. I'm not doing anything.
Tell me why.
and then so they'll say, why am I being arrested? And I've seen this so many times in these fucking videos with the cops. You'll see the cop's face and they'll look at the guy like, what? And you're like, dude, it's the fucking basis of this whole interaction. You're getting mad because they asked, why am I being, it's like, I don't know. But anyway, so that's why I always laugh, because it's like, it's the pitfalls of my fucking face and my energy.
Yeah.
Is I'm like, bro, you wouldn't even believe how opposite of that. How opposite of that I am. But yeah, that was my long tirade because Pat misgendered my beliefs.
So anyway, Drake, not good out of 10.
Yeah.
In everything, and Jail, nah, that's a 1 out of 10.
Let me ask you this, Drake: am I being detained? All right, I'm gonna have to do.
Steph's gonna be like, "Oh my god, Drake just DM'd me."
That would be great. Drake just DMs Steph. You have the right to remain silent.
He sends her the Miranda rights.
Drake is a good name for a cop.
Hell yeah, it is.
Like if you were a detective and they were like
Drake Sloan,
Officer George, we're pairing you up with Drake. You guys are gonna have to run through the 6.
Are you talking about the loose cannon that doesn't know how to insult? Good cop, shitty cop.
Yeah. Yes, I am. All right. We've been going on for a while. Those other topics can suck our dicks. I'll if I have time this weekend, I'll make some extra content to get to those other topics. Actually, the jazz one we could talk about whenever.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, we got a topic for next time. Hey,
yeah, because I do really, because I do have an interest. You and me have, I believe with jazz, I feel like you and me have similar and then also different opinions. That's all. That's just a conversation. That sounded way like I was trying to be smart.
No. I think I agree with you because
you and me have similar and different opinions. Wow, Andy.
No, especially no. I think maybe that's why you maybe I'm not the best bar for this, but you actually made a point to me that like it could be a thing where like because of the fact that of the things that I like other than jazz that are similar to jazz, like maybe you can help shine some light on that stuff. But that's for the next time.
Yeah.
You guys are also tell me how jazz is great, and I'll tell him why I think he's wrong. Maybe.
Well, I remember there was one thing you said about jazz where you, and we'll get into it more next time, where you like did a big blanket statement where I was like, I was listening to more of it, and I was just like, yes, but not as much as you think, or it was because like the point you made, and this is
was it my everybody's soloing?
Well, you're like, you're all just jamming. And then I started to like, and then I was like going off that thought and I started to get into like avant-garde shit. And there is some avant-garde where I'm just like, fuck you. You're not doing anything.
Right.
You're all just doing whatever the fuck at the same time. That's the shit that we were talking about it earlier with like a band like Mars Volta. That's the shit that fucking annoys me because I'm like, you're not doing anything.
Taking advantage of it. It ties into a lot of other things that I feel like it's there's a lot of take. What?
No, it's fucking in South Park when they were making fun of Inception. They had the best line ever, and I want to add a music version of it, but like they were making fun of Inception, and I think it was Stan or Kyle goes like, just because something is overly complicated doesn't mean it's good. Exactly. And just because, and that applies to music, and the thing I'll add on to it, just because something is also overly artsy doesn't mean it's fucking good.
Or bad.
Who's the lady that killed John Lennon?
Yoko Ono.
Yeah, Yoko Ono killed John Lennon, and
cold-blooded, stabbed him right in the heart.
Yep, ate it.
Nobody actually. Yes, he was shot, but those were non-fatal wounds. When he was down on the ground, she was stabbing him repeatedly.
He was totally fine. Then
allegedly,
she ate his heart. Allegedly. She's gonna.
I don't think it worked that way.
She's gonna screech us right into court. Slandered me.
Yeah, luckily we will win in a jury of our peers. We will win against her. So.
But I will say this: Yoko Ono, in her whatever dumb hat she was wearing, in the middle of an art museum, fucking screeching into a microphone, is arguably one of the most artsy things you could do.
Sure.
Is it good?
No.
Absolutely not.
If you say it's your favorite, you're stupid.
If you say you liked it, you're either lying or you're dumb as shit.
Yeah, and those are the only two options. You're trolling someone or you're a fucking idiot.
You're an asshole trying to impress some dumb.
Stick around to our review of a.
You're trying, yeah. You guys get ready for
Fuck
us?
Art, you fucking stupid assholes. Anyway, get our take on art next week. No, I'm sorry. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between jazz,
Well, like, yeah,
even the
dude.
spazziest jazz, and Yoko Ono,
Well,
and
no,
we can go into depth on that.
even the spazziest jazz has like a through line and a thought to it.
Yeah, they still all go ba 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 ba.
Actually, I'm glad we're waiting until next week
Yeah, yeah,
because I want to dig because I was getting big into that one Miles Davis album, but I want to check out a few more styles.
yeah. I'm down for it.
Yes, dude.
Send me whatever else you're listening to, and then I'll listen to it too if I can.
Yes, dude. Next week, the jazz episode.
Get ready for it.
Get fucking ready for it. Heavy music, not next
Bye
week.
bye. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Metalcore.
See
Sit
ya.
this one out.
Yeah. Nope. Not for me. Breakdown? No thanks. How about I set down my jazz microphone?
Every time I die, more like I would rather die than
Nope.
to not listen to jazz.
Right there.
All right, this episode's going way too fucking long. Come back next week for the jazz episode. We love you all. Have a good one. Bye bye.